Hi everyone. In the last session, we have discussed the concept called how procedure can create a function. So in the last session, I'm opening my workbench. I would like to delete my function and show you how to create it. Okay. So you have a MySQL connection option, right? Workbench. So let me open my workbench. Click on this local instance and password is root. Right, so I would like to delete my function and show you like how to create it. Okay, you have this when you enter the password root while installing my SQL, I provide the password as a root. So that's the reason I'm providing the root as a password. Here, then click on OK. Okay, it's showing. Only the thing is you have to go to this here MySQL community installer, then click on yes. Whenever it shows this finding the installed packages, just click this reconfigure and click on next. Click on again next. Then what is the password? My caps lock is on. Okay, so my caps lock is on, so that's why it didn't take me and it is asking to recheck the password. Okay, now everything is done. Okay, so here you have to be click on execute all this. If you want to add something or you want to keep modify the workbench or things, you can also do that by adding. You can see what we have added in the last class, like MySQL server 8.0 I have already added, so that's what it is showing in the available products. In MySQL workbench I have installed the MySQL workbench 8.0. Right, so click on cancel and you want to cancel adding the products? No. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Okay, so modify in the like what are the installed products you can see here, and you can do the modify as well. So I don't want to now to make the changes, so I'll just click on close here. Just give the password as a root, small letters, make sure, and click on OK. So now it is all set that we can see our database, our edit type editor, right? So that's the reason I'm providing the password as a root. Then you have to make sure whether it is a lowercase or uppercase. If it is uppercase, then it will again ask you to recheck the password, then you have to be open the installer, then recheck everything. It will take a lot of time. And so I have used the command called use test. We all know, right? If we my there by default it is a sys database, and last time we have created the test database. So here you have to be use this database test, right? Then execute it. So successfully we have using this database. Okay, which means that I am going to be utilize the test database for our commands. Okay, see, already we have created the functions, but most probably we forgot it, right? Let me create it once again. My function name is experience of an employee. I will do one thing. First, I would like to drop the function. Okay, so for dropping the function, what command you have to be use? You have to be use a drop a function. What is the function name? Experience of employee, right? So there is no function created. If I already run this then it will show the you don't have the function exist. So here you can see drop the function. So what it is showing, it does not exist. It means we don't have any function, otherwise if it would have shown here, right? So this is the command that we have to be used. Okay, so now while typing this command I can able to drop this function, means my function will be removed from the database. Which function I have created is like I have created experience of employee in the last session. So I'll show you once again, and that's the reason why I just drop it. Cool. So I don't have any function in my database. To create a new function in my database, okay, so test database. Test, what is the database name? Test. So what I have to do is I have to be click on the function, right click, then create a function. Then click on OK, just here. Function, create function. Okay, then what it is extend it like you can expand. So what is the better word I have to use? I have to, okay, so whatever you can see this type of editor, right? So let me just write the steps here. In the last session I haven't given any steps to you. Remember this, it's easy. Okay, so the I haven't given anything, right? So let me just first give these steps which I already wrote here. Okay, so to create the procedure or function in a database, we have to be follow the syntax specific to that database. Okay, so suppose if you want to create a function in MySQL database, then you have to be open the MySQL workbench. Once MySQL workbench is open, then you know that I use one command called use test. Okay, here I use the in the query editor. So what I did, I use the test database. It means you are going to be use the that test database, right? That first you have to be type the command in that window or query returns the window, right? In this query editor, like you can see here. So what in this query editor, type the command use the test. Okay, nothing but use test, right? Once you do this thing, you have to be expand the database where you can create a function, right? So it is already expanded here, you can see this. Okay, I'll tell you a sample function we are creating, right? So here, what now we are creating the function to accept the emp number as an input, and it should return the experience of employee based on hire date or joining date, right? So it's clear. After use test, what you have to do, expand that database. You can see the right click and function, then you have to be select the option create function. Okay, here it is, create the function. Then you can see this type of editor window. Okay, so which we get here, you will get as a new function like this. Okay, so what is this new function? This one, you have got the new function. What I will do is, like, I'm typing the name of the function, experience of employee, experience of employee, right? So here what I will do, you have to be set the integer type employee number variable. So I will take ENO, ENO integer type, right? So what it returns integer value. So experience of the employee is, if it's a 8 years, then 8 years or 9 years or 10 years, then integer value is fine. What if the employee experience is 8.5 years, 4.5 years, 3.6 years, 3 years 6 months? On that time it should return the double, it should return the double. So this is the thing. Okay, ENO input value returns a double because experience comes as double. So I use the one word called deterministic. So which is a keyword. You will understand next, like what is the word called deterministic next, right? So deterministic function, which means for the same input, employee number ENO. Okay, ENO should return the same output. And this one, it returns the what? Same output must be it, output must be same. That deterministic word represent the function. Okay, so the function is a deterministic function, which means always for the same input returns the same output. That what's the meaning of deterministic? I hope it's clear. word called deterministic. Okay, means what, for the same input always the function returns the same output. Okay, so deterministic functions for the same input always returns the same output or same result. So that's what the meaning is deterministic. Don't get confused. Okay, the same result, not the data type. Input and output are the values, right? So input and output are not the data types. It's values. They are called results. Okay, so I want to declare the variable, uh, like for example, JD. Better I will type the variable as in lowercase letter. So you will feel these are the variables, right? So let me just do this in where we have to be write this code in the begin and inside the return, inside the begin and inside the return. So here deterministic, deterministic. Okay, so this is our keyword. So where you have to be write the code in between the begin and return. So here I will declare what I will declare, joining date variable. I'll declare the joining date variable in the lowercase letters as JD. Joining date, it is a what type? Date. Joining date is nothing but the date is the type. Okay, now I will declare the another variable which is nothing but experience. Experience, all lowercase experience. So experience, uh, which comes in which data type? Double, because experience of the employee is 4 years, 5 months, 6 years, 8 months, like that. So it is better to take the double data type, right? Now I will declare one more, which is nothing but the declare TD, which is again the comes under the date data type. Okay, so higher date into JD and current date, which is nothing but the TD. So let me just explain this so you can understand it, right? So what you have did here, like the in the database, uh, like JD is nothing but the variable which we have declared in joining date, right? And it is a type, what type? It is a JD, means date, right? So here JD is stored in the joining date. So I will also store one more variable which is nothing but experience, which is nothing, the data type is double. So these are the two variables I am declaring here. One variable is JD and another one variable is experience. I have declared two variables, all right. So after declaring the required variables, like I would like to write the query, select query higher date into JD. It's a variable. So you should not type the variable in the capital letters. Okay, so higher date is a column, right? So let me here select higher date, higher, select higher date into what is this JD, which is nothing but from dual, right? So this is the thing that I have to be type it here. Now again select what is my current date. Correct, this one we have already discussed, right, in the last session. The same thing which I'm going to be use it here one more time. Select current date, current date into TD, which is nothing but the total is from dual, right? Okay. So then we have to be set the experience. How we have to be set the experience? Like first of all, higher date is like column. For the columns, you can for the columns you can type either the lowercase or in uppercase. Like these are the mistakes we generally do, right? So I'm clearly clarifying to select higher date into JD from EMP where employee number is equal to ENO. Higher date from, oh, see here I wrote from which one, employee from EMP, which table, EMP table where employee number is equal to EMP. So it is a column, right? EMP employee number. So that's why we have to be mention it in the capital letter. And what is the, we have declared the variable ENO employee number. Here it is ENO, right? So I have mentioned it. You have to be declared. So what basically this query selects, it selects the joining date and stores the variable called JD, small letters, right? It stores the value JD from employee where employee number is equal to ENO, right? So I hope this query is clear. Now this column higher date we are selecting. Okay, so this is the column we are selecting and storing the value in JD, right? So the variable I declared already, the variable which I declared already, whose higher date I want to match with my employee number, which is nothing but ENO. For example, employee number is 3214. Okay, then the query becomes what, where employee number is 3214, where 3214, that joining date or higher date we are selecting and storing into the JD variable called, that variable called JD, joining date, right? Now we will calculate the experience. Okay, so we are getting the joining date only. Now how to calculate the experience? How, like in the last session we have discussed current date minus that joining date, but it will give us the number of days, but we need to be convert into the years. So what should we do? There is a command called set. Okay, set is for storing the values. Set the experience is equal to current date, it represents the current date in my SQL. Okay, so we don't have any system date like sysdate. Sysdate is in Oracle. In MySQL, we have the current date function. Okay, current date minus JD. It keep all this in the parenthesis, calculating all this divided by 365. So let me just write here. Select the current date. Select current date. Current date, which is nothing but current date into TD from where, dual. Okay, from dual. So as no need to be write the once again, because we are use already I am using the TD variable. So set the experience. How you have to be, I have to be use the set keyword, right? Set experience. Set experience is equal to then the difference between the JD and joining date and current date, which is nothing but we have to be using another keyword that you can check this one. Okay, date and difference. Date diff. This is the another type of method that we have to be use. Okay, yeah. Date, date diff TD comma JD divided by 365. Okay, so this is the thing that we have to be use it here. And what it returns the experience. Because the experience, if the employee experience is 3 years or 4 years, then it should show the experience, right? 4.5 years, like that. So this is the thing that we have to be create function. Okay, in like we have already finally it returns the experience. I hope this query is clear, and let me copy this and paste it in my document here, so it would be easy. Right. Now what I will do is, you have after typing this code, like you have to be click on apply, right? So go to the workbench here. You can see the apply option here, right? So just click on apply. Then once again click on apply. SQL statement successfully applied to the database. Then you have to be click on finish. Right. So it is successfully done. Now execute the SQL statement, which by default checked. Now don't worry about it. And then once you click on finish, now tell me like what is finally created once we have created the function. You can see right side the name of the employee, right here. And so tell me like what to do after this. You can right here. So we have discussed still here. Click on the right click. We have created the function. Once we execute, then you let me write the steps here. The color, so it will be easier. I don't want this. Click on apply. So just now we have done again. Once again, click on apply and finish. Right. So finally, function is created in the database. Finally, our function is created. Our function is created in where database. Which database? Test. Okay. So what is created so far? Name of the function. What is the name of the function? Experience of employee. So we have discussed today the callable statement. Okay, so callable statement. So how many types of the statements we have in JDBC? Three types. So what are the statement? First one is statement, second one is prepared statement, and third one is callable statement. Now we are discussing callable statement. Okay, so callable statement is used to invoke the procedure or invoke the function. This is important thing you have to be remember, invoke the procedure or invoke the function. Okay, let's understand how we do that invoking the procedure. Let's talk about like how to invoke the function or procedure. Okay, so let me just write it here. Okay, so to create a callable statement, object, you have to be call statement object. You have to call prepare call method. Which method? You have to call prepare prepare call method. Prepare call method of connection object. Prepare method of connection object. Right. So if at all you want to create the prepared statement object, then you have to be call prepared call method. Okay, what prepared call method for prepared statement? of which object? Connection object. Okay, suppose I want to create the prepared statement object. So what I will do means, which method I will call? Prepared statement object. Okay, prepare statement of connection object. Suppose I want to create this statement object, then which method I will call? Connection object. Create statement is the correct one, right? So how do you create this statement object in JDBC? Like connection dot create a statement. We have discussed all this in our JDBC programs, right? So connection dot create statement. How to create a prepared statement object? Connection dot prepared statement. Then how to create the callable statement object? Connection dot callable statement. So what I will do, I will write the syntax. Okay, callable statement query. So connection name is con dot add it past the queries. It will call the query. I'll tell you uh, like how the prepared statement equal to connection dot prepare call. It is nothing but the preparing the call query. It is not the SQL query, it is a call statement, because you are going to be call a procedure, or you are going to be call the function. So in order to call the procedure or function, then we have to be use the call statement, which is called the call query. Okay, also we can say the callable statement or call query. So I will tell you like how we can do that. Here it is. What did I do? Here I will write it. Okay, so for the callable statement, which method we have to be called? Prepare call method. And what I am trying to tell now, callable statement. Callable, callable statement. Callable statement CSTMT is equal to con dot prepare prepare call query. Prepare call method, here query. Okay, now I'm going to be call the function. Suppose I'm writing the query like this. You have understand the query. Okay, so string query is equal to, here string string query is equal to in the quotations. Okay, so here I have to be call experience of the employee, which what is my table name? Experience. I have to be called first. Call experience of the e- experience. Yeah, spelling is correct. Experience of employee. Then here you have to be close the quotations, right? So this is the thing that you have to be set, and you have to be must and should mention it in the flower brackets, opening with the flower brackets. Here you can mention flower brackets, and here you can close it with the curly braces or anything you can call. So callable statement, now you have to be use the callable statement. Let me just copy and paste it here so you can understand. Callable statement, con dot prepare call the query. What is our query? Call the table name. Okay, so this is the thing that we have to be used. The first parameter is to capture the output or a result of the second parameter, which first this is, we have already discussed, right? So this is the question mark, which is nothing but the placeholders. Okay, here you can see the query. This is the query calling the statements with two parameters, right? So this is nothing but the we need to be register first parameter as an output parameter. So this is nothing but the output parameter, and which is with callable statement object. Okay, with a callable statement object CSTMT. Okay, how do we discuss now? Who is the CSTMT? It is nothing but the callable statement. So CSTMT dot register out parameter is nothing but one. So let me just write it here. First I will write this, then it is easy for you to understand. CSTMT dot register out parameter. What is our placeholder? First, this one, this question mark first placeholder is nothing but the out parameter. Out parameter. Out parameter function. In that, my first parameter is 1, and the type is double. Type is nothing but double. Okay. So here, so this query calls this statement with two parameters. Okay, so this is the query which calls with two parameter. First parameter is 1, and the second one is type double. So let me just write it here so you can understand. Okay, the query, which query? So this query, prepare call method. Okay, the query is a call statement. This is a call statement with how many parameters? Two parameters. With two parameters, right? And the first parameter is to capture the first parameter is to capture the output or result, and second parameter is, and second parameter is send the input. It sends the input. Send the so, shortcut guys. Second parameter is, first parameter is for to get the result, and second parameter is for to send the input, right? We need to register the first parameter. So what we have to do, we need to register we need to register the first parameter as a output parameter, as a output parameter with callable statement object, with callable statement object, right? So with callable statement object. Now, how do we discuss now? Who is the callable statement? CSTMT. Okay. So what is the index 1? What is the index value? This is nothing but the 1, right? Along with that, we also set the type of the parameter. Okay. We also set the parameter type, which is nothing but the double. Okay. Then tell me the parameter is what type of data? It is a double, because we are getting the result in the what format? Double format, like 4.5 years, like that. Okay, experience may come in the double format, right? So to specify the parameter type, and the parameter index is 1. So parameter represents like this. Okay, so this is the way that we have to be follow. There is a method called register out parameter. Okay, so this is the register out parameter method. What it is used for, set the parameter index and also specify the type. So we have passed the two values, right? First one is parameter index and parameter type. Then you have to be called the execute method. Okay, so here tell me, like, is this any insert query? No, right? So let me just okay, so this is the way that we have to be follow. Right. So the parameter is what type of data? Double. Because we are getting the result in the double format. Right. So this is the way that we have to be follow the register out parameters, which sets the parameter index, is also called the specify the type. We have to be pass two values. First one is parameter. First parameter is nothing but the index. This is the one, right? This is the first parameter, index. And the second parameter type is you double. Then you have to call the execute method. Okay, so tell me, this is any insert query? No. Is it any select query? No. So then don't call the execute update method, right? Or don't call the execute query method. Right. So when to call the execute update? If the query is a insert query or delete query or update query, then you have to be called the execute update. Right. So we have already discussed this in our previous sessions, right? If the query is a select query, then you have to be called the execute query method. Right. So for this query, it's a call, it's a STMT, right? So we have to be called the statement. So what's the method to call now? Execute method. Only we have to be called the execute method. Only we have to be called the execute method. So only we have to call the not execute update or execute query method. We have to be just call the execute query method. Execute method. Okay, writing the program code. Okay, so let me just go ahead and I'll write this JDBC program. Okay, I'll explain something now. I'll execute. Let's open my Eclipse. I'll write the program.